Hello everyone, welcome to today's Learn English with Tony. I'm Tony. Today's lesson is about one of the most important grammars in English, the passive voice. So, what is passive voice? What does passive voice mean? The passive voice is a form of verbs used to describe the relationship between the subject and the predicate verb. There are two kinds of voice in English, active voice and passive voice. The active voice indicates that the subject is the performer of the action, and the passive voice indicates that the subject is the receiver of the action. The passive voice is a special form of verbs. In other words, we should use the passive voice structure when we want to express how someone or something is being treated by another person or something else. Generally speaking, only transitive verbs have passive voice. In English, different tenses have corresponding passive voice forms. Now, let's look at one sentence, then we turn the sentence into different tenses and corresponding passive voice forms. However, before we study the following sentences, it is necessary to know what the structure of the passive voice is. The passive voice consists of be verb plus past participle of transitive verb. The tense of the passive voice only changes the form of be, leaving the past participle unchanged. So now, let's study them together. Simple present tense. Active voice. The student population elects the council. Passive voice form. The council is elected by the student population. Simple past tense. Active voice. The student population elected the council. Passive voice. The council was elected by the student population. Simple future tense. Active voice. The student population will elect the council. Passive voice. The council will be elected by the student population. We can also say, the student population is going to elect the council. The passive voice form is, the council is going to be elected by the student population. Past future tense. Active voice. The student population would elect the council. The passive voice form is, the council would be elected by the student population. We can also say, active voice. The student population was going to elect the council. The passive voice is, the council was going to be elected by the student population. Present continuous. Active voice. The student population is electing the council. The passive voice is, the council is being elected by the student population. Past continuous. Active voice. The student population was electing the council. Passive voice. The council was being elected by the student population. Present perfect. Active voice. The student population has elected the council. Passive voice form is the council has been elected by the student population. Past perfect. Active voice. The student population had elected the council. The passive voice form is the council had been elected by the student population. Future perfect. Active voice. The student population will have elected the council. The passive form is the council will have been elected by the student population. In addition to these common passive voice forms in different tenses, we can also apply passive voice to modal verbs or sentences such as used to do, need to do, or have to do. For example, applied to modal verbs, we can say, the council should be elected by the student population. Applied to the used to do sentence pattern, we can say, the council used to be elected by the student population. And applied to need to do sentence pattern, we can say, the council needs to be elected by the student population. Well, that's it for today's lesson. I hope you have learned the passive voice. I'll give it in the next class for the remaining advanced knowledge points related to passive voice. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.